What is an addendum to a real estate contract? And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 most common reasons to have an addendum and why an addendum can be your absolute best friend. Okay, the first thing we're going to cover are all the normal things that are in an addendum contract. The second is going to be the extras, the things that you put over and above the outside of the normal, right? And then the third one is going to be what I've kind of alluded to, and that's the one that allows me to get contracts on the spot. All right, guys, let's go with the normals. What are the normals and what are we talking about when we're going with an addendum contract? Well, an addendum is just an extension to the original purchase agreement or that purchase contract that you write with a seller or a homeowner. So in this addendum, really, it's gonna act as your best friend. And a lot of the things you're gonna put in the addendum under these normals is the things that already exist in the purchase agreement, but when you reinstate them, it makes it just click for the seller. Now they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were doing these things for me. So what are some of these normals? In the contract, you're going to talk about that you're going to close on a certain date, for example. You're going to reinstate that inside these normal, in the addendum. So you're going to make a line item that says, we're going to be closing on the 25th of April, and you can even say a time, by 5 p.m. Another normal would be some of those, think of all the different pain points or some of those solutions that you're bringing to the table. It could be that you're buying the home as is. Now, even though the purchase agreement is going to tell you that you're going to be buying the home as is, you want to reinstate that again in the addendum. Remember that we're going to be buying the home as is. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. I don't have to worry about fixing up anything. I don't have to do anything about that. And now, what are some of these other normals? It could be as simple as that it's going to be a cash offer. Again, these are things that are going to be in the purchase agreement. You're just reinstating them. And every time you bring those solutions up, you're just giving them more confidence of why they selected you to be the one that's going to be purchasing their home. All right, as for the extras, what are we talking about? What are something that's outside of the normal that you can do that just brings more power, brings more clarity to the contract, but more importantly, allows them to feel comfortable and confident to keep moving forward with you? Those extras can be things that most people don't think about. In fact, your competition isn't even thinking about these things. And it could be, what if they close on the 25th, but they're like, man, we're nervous because we really don't move into our next home, or we don't know where we're going for about a week. The extra could be, well, that's okay. Why don't we close on the 25th and we allow you to live there an extra week? And most of your competition like, oh, well, we can't do that. Once we close, we got to have access to this home. Guys, you can do this. And I think our natural fear is we won't have a cash buyer, or we won't have someone that is going to want to act upon this contract. They're not going to allow people to stay in the home an extra week. That's just not the case. It has never happened. Whenever we have it and it's written, and then we present that to our cash buyer that is going to perform on this underlying contract, we've never had a cash buyer say, ooh, everything was looking good until you got to that point where you let them live in the home an extra week. It just doesn't happen. Find ways that make it easy for them. Why are we in this business? Not just to make money, guys. That's the byproduct of genuinely serving these individuals. How do you help them transition from A to B? And that's how you can fill in with these extras on the addendum. Some other extras that you may want to consider thinking about is maybe even paying for their moving company. Remember, a lot of the individuals that you're working with, they could be in a distressed situation, or their home's in such distress that they didn't really have any money to fix up the home, or they literally don't have money because maybe they were behind on taxes, behind on mortgage, or going through divorce. So what are those extra ways that you can serve these individuals? It could be as simple as paying for their moving company, or because they're going to be cleaning out their house, maybe there's a lot of stuff that they just don't want anymore and they just want to throw away. Maybe it could be as simple as providing a dumpster that you can drop off that they can fill up, but it's going to be you paying for the dumpster. But guys, these are all the little things. These are the little things that they're looking for. Remember, when it comes to doing deals, it's all about providing solutions. All right, guys, before I move on to number 3, where you learn to lock down the contract on the spot, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell so it alerts you when we put fresh new content out there. All right, let's go with our third and final, and that is being able to use some kind of incentive, something that allows you to get the contract right on the spot. Let me give you a real-time story. I was out on this appointment. I'm sitting there talking to this couple, and they needed time to think about it. Everything felt right. We had started talking about price. We started talking about all the solutions. We were talking about all the different extras that I could add value to them to help them out from going from A to B. And it's now at the point where they're sitting there looking at each other, and they said, well, Cody, we just need some time to think about it. And naturally we think, oh, well, we can't push them. We don't want to just like sit there and keep talking. But also you're thinking, I don't want to walk away. We're doing something so good right now, and I don't want to walk away and they forget about everything we talked about, or someone else comes in, your competition, get them to like sign on the same things, but then get them to sign on the spot. So what is it that you can do so that while everything's going good, putting the contract together, how do you get it that day? I always validate that they need time, but what I do is put a restriction on that timeline. So I hear them, okay, that makes sense. You guys need to talk about that. Validate it, right? The second part of that is, guess what? My wife, she said I needed to go pick up dinner tonight, and if I don't go get that and I don't bring it home, she's going to be ticked off at me. And so I'm just gonna go drop by the grocery store. I'm gonna go pick up those items. I'm even gonna pick up a $500 gift card. I'll swing back around, and if it happens to be something that we can put an agreement together tonight, I'll even leave you that $500 gift card. Does that sound like a plan? And this couple looked at each other, they're like, yeah, that works. And guys, in all reality, what that allows you to understand is for $500, yeah, I think that helps. We can do that. So I did. I went to the grocery store, I picked up the groceries, I got the $500 gift card, came by, and we got the contract on the spot. So understanding these things and then putting it in the addendum that you are giving them $500 non-refundable. This is not that if it doesn't close that they have to give the $500 back. This is something they're gonna keep regardless. But knowing these 3 things to add in an addendum, you'll realize that the addendum is truly your best friend and should be involved in every one of your contracts that you're doing when working with a homeowner. I have a free gift for you guys. That is my real estate negotiation crash course. And really what this is I share the top 5 negotiation strategies in real estate that allow you to go from like skipping from being that newbie to sounding like a pro and really being able to negotiate deals so that you can get your first deal in the next 30 days. All you have to do is just simply click the link in the description below.